Welcome back to Pop Goes the Kernel, where we dive into today's latest pop culture, music, television, movies, and more.
I'm Libby Heckert.
I'm Marissa Armstrong.
I'm Gabriella Mercedes.
And I'm Lauren Smiley. Let's get popping.
Today's episode will include celebrity drama, the Golden Globes recap, Miss America, and lots of different pop culture moments we missed over our break.
The opinions expressed on this podcast are the speaker's own and don't uphold the opinions expressed by the Kentucky Kernel.
Recently, there's been the movie It Ends With Us circulating and trending on Netflix. There's a book about it. I'm sure you guys are familiar. The co-stars are Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's a movie that is kind of a love story. It is a love story. But part of their love story reminds main character Lily Bloom, who's played by Blake Lively, of a negative part of her parents' relationship. The movie is a tearjerker, as we know. Libby let us all know it made her cry. Since the movie's come out on Netflix and kind of like resurfaced, I guess, its popularity, Blake Lively is suing her co-star Justin Baldoni. So on December 31st, 2024, she filed a complaint against him and his associates for sexual harassment. She says that she experienced invasive, unwelcome, unprofessional, and sexually inappropriate behavior by him, and when she voiced her concerns, they were pretty much all dismissed. This has the public kind of in an uproar. Obviously a very popular movie, two very popular people, lots at stake here. On January 2nd, his attorney kind of gives a response and says, this is not going to be the final lawsuit, and essentially says that they're going to sue Blake Lively. What are our thoughts?
I know Justin from a show called Jane the Virgin. It came out a long, long time ago. It's a great show, and he is a great character in it. And I just watched It Ends With Us over winter break, and it makes me sad that all of this is circulating around it because it is such a great movie with such an amazing message and just really dives into Lily Bloom's life and all the different things that come with that. And it makes me sad seeing the two main characters fighting.
No, definitely. I actually did you guys a service here and read both of their lawsuits. So kind of looking at the proof aspect of it, there's a lot of defamation, libel kind of being thrown out there, which has kind of caught the public by storm, is what I've started to learn. One in particular is she was getting ready in her trailer, and she invites him in to come practice lines. This was, I kid you not, maybe pages of this lawsuit, was their conversations along with other reporters. That was a huge thing, them talking with the directors, to the point where the entire cast hated him for all of this that had gone down. They didn't want him at the premiere at all. He wasn't planning on going. They talked about him being in a basement at one point. I mean, considering it is such an intimate movie, because, for those of you who have read the book, it's very clear. There's a lot of intimacy, but there's so much behind it. So kind of seeing the proof with it was absolutely crazy. So
I would love to hear from an intimacy coordinator of the movie to kind of get their perspective, because I know a lot of films these days, they have to deal with those to make sure everything's going smoothly. So I wonder if they have a separate perspective on and off set that could kind of lead into more of the evidence or just information about what's going on.
And I honestly think the public's perspective is going to have a lot to do with it. Law is law at the end of the day, but law is how you interpret it. And, you have there's both sides to every story, and that's always been a thing. But a lot of the evidence that Blake Lively is presenting is seen as circumstantial, which at the end of the day is very hard to prove in court. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and definitely something to keep up with. Kind of transitioning from that, Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds did not show face at the Golden Globes, and there's been a lot of speculation about that because they think it has to do with the fact of this lawsuit. Now, they've since come out and said that it doesn't, but I don't know. I think it's up for interpretation.
It is really interesting that they didn't show up. So we can start talking about the Golden Globes. So Nikki Glaser hosted the 82nd annual Golden Globe Awards show. This show awards the best film and television of the year, and Glazer's jokes and outfit changes throughout the whole night were really the highlights for me. Like, she was such an incredible host. I watched the whole thing, and it was such an entertaining show. I wrote down some of my favorite jokes from the night.
Before you get into that, I think we should just give her a round of applause. First female host ever of the Golden Globes. That's huge.
Okay, so some of my favorite jokes of the night, I wrote down a lot of Wicked ones because that's kind of what I was pining for on the Golden Globes night. I did not know much about Wicked going into this year because I had friends in high school. Everyone loved Wicked. I loved Wicked. My boyfriend loved Wicked. My boyfriend's boyfriend really loved Wicked.
Yeah.
That one, I was in the other room, not like fully paying attention, and I heard that one in the kitchen, and I laughed so hard. I made my family stop. I was like, that was good. She also did a rendition of Popular, playing off of Wicked and Conclave, both nominated for Golden Globes. And I thought that was really funny, considering here at UK we have Mark Pope. I immediately was like, UK's going to turn it into a meme. She put on a Pope hat. I was like, that's for us.
That really is. But taking away from the jokes, they were so great. You brought up a lot of Wicked ones. Let's talk about Wicked at the Golden Globes, because they won one.
Only one.
And
they were
was
snubbed.
Box office achievement, which I think we all kind of saw that one coming. I mean, who didn't want to go dress up and go see Wicked in theaters? That brought out my little non-existent theater kid that wished had lived.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised it only won one. I think it is definitely going to win some more at the Oscars and other award shows like that. Winning the box office achievement did not surprise me at all because it really took the world by storm. But some of the other awards that it did not win also surprised me.
There was just so much hype around that movie that, you would expect it to come in at number one for a few more categories. But it was also new. Like, when you put it in perspective of, like, Golden Globes and the other movies that were already out, like, had a longer time. You know what I mean? I don't know if that has anything.
I think I took that into perspective when I was watching. I think if it had a longer time of being out, and maybe if it was just one full movie, it might have done better.
I like the idea that they're splitting it in two, since 2 acts in the musical itself, but definitely kind of that cliffhanger, because you get to the end and they're basically saying, hey, we're gonna make a second movie, but even with that, they're making a whole new song for Galinda, and I know that's gonna get a lot of backlash coming up, so I think it'll be interesting to see how it does for future award ceremonies.
I do think Part 2, or For Good as it's now named, I think that will win much more awards than Part 1, in my humble opinion. I think they're kind of waiting to, like, give the awards to
Go out
the
with a
second
bang.
movie. Yeah.
Really? Me personally on that, I don't think it will. I think the first one was kind of like, that was the big one. That's the one we all wanted to see. It has the musical songs in it. This new one is going to have, it's not going to be the whole,
Defying
original
gravity.
thing.
I kind of agree with Gabby because, the hype was there. Like, everybody, like, now there's this expectation for part 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it going to meet that expectation?
I feel like it's going to go, the fans are going to be much more drawn to Part 1, like the hype around it. But I think in terms of, like, award season and, like, that kind of, like, critics, I think they're going to like Part 2 more. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see until the end of this year. One of my other highlights of the night was the fun facts that appeared on the screen throughout the night. Every single time a new person would come on the stage, either after winning an award or about to present an award, they would include these, like, random fun facts that had nothing really they had to do with them, but they were just, like, not normal. And I just thought it added such a fun and unserious element to the show, which is why I think people continue to tune into the Golden Globes, because it is more unserious compared to other award shows like the Oscars or the Grammys. So that's why I like the Golden Globes, but I don't know if you guys had a take on the fun facts.
That's a nice touch to add to an award show, and I think especially because, it's seen as this really fancy thing, and then even with the fun hosts, with the jokes and the comedy element in that, it adds just another aspect that can keep viewers really enticed to keep watching.
And I think this is one of the only award shows where they're allowed to drink during it, which is why I think they get that more unserious element, which is what makes it so entertaining. Continuing on, overall, I think the standout speech of the night was from Demi Moore. She was awarded Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy for her role in The Substance, and this was her first ever Golden Globe win. It was her 3rd nomination. I'm pretty sure it was her first ever, like, big award win, which is crazy because she's had a long career. And her speech, it was so empowering. Like, it's worth the listen. If you haven't listened to it already, go listen to it, especially if you're a female, like, need, like, those empowering vibes. I loved it.
After her speech, my mom was like, I want to come back as Demi Moore. I'm like, Mom. She was really into it, but.
Yeah. And then with any award show, there's going to be upsets like we talked about a little bit earlier. Amelia Perez absolutely stole the show, won 4 Golden Globes. And there's been a lot of discourse about this film online. It won Best Musical or Comedy Film against Wicked. So a lot of people are upset that Wicked lost, but also they're taking clips from this film and they're kind of bashing it. There is one song that I've seen on my TikTok a lot, and it's not my favorite. It's not a great, I haven't seen the full film, but the clips I've seen, I'm not really a fan of it.
Maybe you'll have to tune in.
Maybe I will. I do know it's written entirely by French writers, but it's not in French. So it's kind of strange. I don't know. I'll have to check it out.
It's in Spanish, right?
Yeah, it's written by French writers, but it's in Spanish. But then there's songs in English. Like the clips I've seen are in English. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I don't think I tuned into that. I mean, I love musicals.
Oh,
I don't
me too,
think
girl.
I ever thought of tuning into that, or I really heard of it, just because I don't really know the actors in it and actresses except for Selena Gomez. I know she's in that. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to watch it now. Now I'm enticed to since it beat Wicked. So, I mean, I have to.
See if our opinion compares to the Academy votes.
Continuing on the Golden Globes aspect of our podcast today, we're going to move into the fashion, which my favorite part. I mean, what can I say? There were some favorites and definitely some fails. I'm not really sure what was going on. I don't know. Ariana Grande wore a vintage yellow Givenchy couture gown that not everyone loved.
Not a fan.
I'm not
Raise
a
your
fan
hand.
either.
I'm not a fan. I mean, if you look at the picture and she kind of blends in with the
She
background.
looks so washed out because she has the blonde hair, the blonde eyebrows, the blonde gown. It just kind
It
of is
blends
all
together.
one color.
She kind of just blends together.
Yeah,
Should
I
have
don't
gone
know.
with a different color. It's not necessarily the dress. I think it's the color. Like, I don't love the dress, but the color.
She could have gone
the
pink
dress.
because
I
Glinda.
know,
She could
that's
have
what I
done
was
a vibrant
thinking.
color,
This is
yeah.
like, keep the pink train going on until it's gone.
Exactly.
Whatever. Anyways, Nicole Kidman wore a backless Balenciaga gown with a very voluminous ponytail. I actually did not like this outfit at all. I did not like her hair. It was low-key really confusing to me. Like, I didn't even know it was in a ponytail because it was so big. And
Right.
It's like
It doesn't look like a
looks
traditional
like-
ponytail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I love the color of the dress, and she was awesome this year, so I don't know. She just looked good. And then my favorite, the Challengers star, Zendaya, was not only just wearing her Louis Vuitton dress, but she had her matching engagement ring to go with it. How do we feel about
we
the
need to talk about
engagement?
this.
Yes!
I was watching the awards. I'm looking on Twitter like to try to see how people are feeling about the events. Someone posts, "Is Zendaya wearing an engagement ring?" I go, "Guys, hold on." I text you guys immediately. I'm like, "Guys, Zendaya's engaged." And then the next day all this stuff came out. I love them so much. Like, they are my favorite Hollywood couple because they're so private, and I'm so excited to see it, and I just love them.
They are so cute together. I've been rooting for this couple since day one. So when Marissa texts us late that night and says Zendaya is wearing a wedding ring,
I mean,
think
the
we all just
ring-
about, everybody stop. Oh my gosh.
It's a couple that I often forget about because they're so private. You know
Yes,
what I mean? Like, they're not
exactly.
in the news. It's not drama. But she, like, hard launched, like, rocket launched this engagement, and I love that for them.
I love how he's just like, he knows he got the best one, and I think he knows she's just amazing, and it's awesome. Her ring, by the way.
Can we talk about The Rock?
Oh
Like-
my gosh, it is beautiful, especially paired with that color dress.
And you see her posing with her hands. She knows what she's
what
doing.
she's doing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
She's well aware. I just love her.
And then Cynthia's dress got a lot of hate because, I mean, she's been killing it on all the Wicked red carpets. She still had her long, beautiful Wicked nails. She was wearing a Louis Vuitton ensemble, and viewers said it was underwhelming. They were expecting more.
I was definitely expecting more for Cynthia, I would say. I personally was not a fan of the gown, but I wouldn't say it's one of the worst looks we've seen. I think I still think it looks good. I definitely would have liked to see more of like a color pop with her. I feel like she has that element to her that she could do that with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really like it. I think she kind of, by going with a like less dramatic look, she's kind of giving like, I know I'm the it girl vibes.
Yeah.
I think.
Our queen.
I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. Well, we're going to talk about some of the guys. Glenn Powell wore his little black and brown ensemble with his sunglasses. A little bit less fancy, unbuttoned, classic Glenn Powell look.
He's giving Miles Teller.
Let me tell
my
you,
God.
Yeah.
He is.
Let me tell you, he is basically America's sweetheart. I absolutely love him.
Yes.
And personally, I'm all for the kind of more relaxed, like natural, not so like up in.
This is just another day for me.
You
It really is.
Yeah, like the guys, I mean, they do really well with dressing for these award shows because, I mean, there's not much more like
There's
they
not much
get
they
to
can
wear.
do.
Yeah. Again, Timothy Chalamet was there with Kylie Jenner.
I need to talk about Timothy's look for a second. Guys' looks are one of my biggest pet peeves because I'm like, you're at an award show. You have to give me something. Why does Timothy Chalamet look like he doesn't know how to tie a tie? He's going to his middle school choir concert. He just wrapped that tie around like a scarf.
He said, let me hurry up and get out the door.
Like, that's a tie.
I couldn't even tell. I thought that was a scarf.
It's a silk tie, and he tied it around a little knot on his neck. I hate it. I love Timothy. He looks great except for that freaking tie. I can't do it.
Yeah, and him and Kylie were all over each other at the Golden Globes. I know I saw it. That is one relationship I saw
That is very
come out
odd.
of nowhere.
It's so random. But like in my head, I get it. Like, it makes sense to me. A lot of people are like, I just can't see them do that. Like, I get it, but I also, it's just random.
I don't get it. I wish
Neither
could
do
say
I.
I do, but I mean, they were heavily scrutinized for being all PDA, all up on each other, and everyone's like, whoa, let's pump the brakes. We are literally at an award ceremony, and I honestly couldn't agree more because why are we panning the camera to that every 5 minutes? I didn't want to see that.
Just pan the camera on Zendaya's engagement ring. I mean,
I
that
would
would
watch
be
that
I'd
all
much rather
day.
see that.
Okay, continuing on our little fashion train here. Miss America was not too long ago, over the new year. So, of course, Miss Alabama won, with Texas being first runner-up. Very happy to watch the whole thing, but let me tell you, part I was not excited for, the evening gowns. I'm someone who loves long dresses. I would kill to put one on because it makes me feel like a princess, I'm not gonna lie. However, some of these gowns, it's not very pageantry-esque. I've grown up watching pageants. I've had friends that have been in pageants. These looks are not what I expected. For example, Wyoming's in general is one of the ones I was I don't even want to say underwhelmed by, because I just was not a fan. She's a beautiful girl, but her dress did not compliment her at all.
I don't like that you can see on her dress the lace on the sides because it doesn't match her skin tone fully, and the cutout. I don't know. Something about her dress is not doing it for me. I don't like it.
A lot of these dresses are what I would say kind of scandalous for a Miss America pageant. I would think like a kind of more professional vibe. I don't know.
I'm so glad you actually brought that up, because Miss America is one of those very much esteemed. It isn't even considered a pageant. It's considered a scholarship competition, because all of these girls that have walked the stage, every single one of them are in college. They're getting scholarships to continue their college career. That is mainly the whole point of the organization, is to support women getting degrees. So seeing kind of a scandalous dress versus one that's more like You can tell when a dress is empowering. Now, I will tell you, Texas's dress was not my favorite, but the way she wore it and carried herself in it made it so empowering. Like, it just kind of gave that very empowering woman kind of vibe to it.
It girl energy.
Exactly. Which I'm all for the bright colors. Some of them just didn't. They kind of clashed with the contestants.
Yeah.
In particular, I will have to say Tennessee's dress. She is a gorgeous woman. Like, I think she is beautiful. However, her dress, I don't think it was barely floor length. She had kind of flowers around her neck. She's gorgeous. The dress, I hate to say it, was very fugly. I don't even know how else to describe it. I was not a fan whatsoever. I thought the color was beautiful, but it looked, the way the neck was, the way it wasn't even like down to the floor, the whole point. Like, you get points taken off in pageants for that all the time.
This is Tennessee, the third one over here.
The one in the middle, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful. Made it to the top 5. Very happy for her. But as soon as she walked out in that gown, I knew she was not going to go very far. Beautiful speaker, but her gown, I think, is what kind of ruined it for her.
I almost think it would have been better with like no flowers on it. Like,
Exactly.
she should have just left it plain.
I agree. Contrasting, I love Delaware's dress right next to her. It's giving Audrey Hepburn.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, yeah,
See, I like the
so cute.
ruffly flower elements on her dress because it's working. Tennessee's, it's just not working for me.
And I don't know, Wisconsin's dress, like, that's like my mom's 80s prom poofy shoulder dress.
It's coming back, maybe.
Maybe
There
it
you go.
is.
I really like what
Maybe it
North
is.
Dakota has going on. I think hers is different. She's beautiful. I really like that dress.
Matches her skin tone really well. Beautiful. All these women are
They're gorgeous women.
breathtaking.
It's more so of a prom look now, which, I swear I've seen some girls wear some of these dresses for prom, which, in case people are not overly aware, normally when you think pageant, I'm sure some people are going to think very big, glitz, glamour. That's kind of what I think for it as far as it. So seeing I wouldn't even say plain dresses, they're just not what I would expect for women competing for a national crown and $50,000. Continuing on with some powerful women, let's talk about Beyonce's performance.
Beyonce performed at the Houston Texans and Baltimore Ravens game on Christmas Day. Her performance featured songs from her album Cowboy Carter that I know we've talked about multiple times. She had special guests, a floating stage, a truck wrapped in denim, and so many more surprises. It was amazing. And I really feel like she captured the spirit of Texas while performing her new album. It wasn't just, shining light on her album. She had like a band, a marching band, and all these dancers. Everyone was in the same outfit. It was amazing. It was a Super Bowl performance. It was just so good. It was so good.
That's what I was going to say. I literally said, I think I texted you guys and said that was Super Bowl halftime performance worthy. I think Texas just in general, with Dolly Parton, like in the past, they always do a great job with their performers compared to literally any other team. Like, I'm from Detroit. I've mentioned that before. Cannot think of a good halftime show we've had, to be honest with you.
Let me tell you, they say everything is bigger in Texas. They did not lie when they brought Beyonce.
They were right.
They were completely right because I will die on this hill when I say that I'm not a huge fan of the Cowboy Carter album. However, that was perfect, especially for Texas because it just fits the vibe.
Yeah, it was awesome. She came in on a horse, which was so cool, and her fans blowing her hair, everything. It was really, really special. And her last song was, of course, Texas Hold'em, which she performed with her daughter next to her Blue Ivy, which I thought was really, really cool. I mean, it's a huge stage. It's a huge performing stage. And just to even be there and see that, watch it on TV, it's special. Seeing Beyonce dancing with her daughter, that's crazy.
Kind of touching on that, Blue Ivy being in the halftime show, I know a ton of people were not a huge fan. They were saying, oh, it's just because she's a daughter, like it's the whole Nepo baby kind of situation. I thought she did well. She did have a little bit of mess ups, but then again, don't we all? It's part of life. But I thought she did so good. I think it's such a special moment because You're like, my mother is literally Beyonce, getting to dance next to her on Christmas.
Literally, that's what me and my family said. We were sitting there like, imagine your mom being Beyonce.
Right.
Like, I would
Exactly.
feel unstoppable. Be like what? Two truths and a lie. Fun fact: my mom's Beyonce.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like, you won at life. Like, sorry.
You want to tell people that is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Continuing on the topic of football, Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany had their third child recently. Great that they had their child. That's perfect. That's awesome. I'm so happy for them. However, they have 3 children and a dog, and the children's names are Bronze, Sterling, and Golden, all metal.
Oh.
And then the dog's name is Steel. What is the obsession with metal? Can someone let me know?
First of all, I'm not a fan of them naming their dog Steel because Steel is Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, come on, leave it for the Pittsburgh people. But it's not like he's an Olympian. Like, why? I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get
understand.
it.
The only one that's like an actual name is Sterling. Like, I
Yeah.
know that's an actual name, but I'm like, why are you naming your children's dogs names? Hot take: why don't name your children's dogs names?
No, I know. Or metal.
When I think Sterling, I think Sterling Shepard. He was with the New York Giants. That's exactly what comes to mind. So I mean, if you're setting them up to be like pro football player, go ahead. But Golden.
But like, are you just like ranking your kids?
I think that's going to
That's
become a
really fun-
thing.
That's what I would think of because I mean, I'm competitive with my siblings like many other families are.
Mhm. I think it's going to become a big thing. They're going to be like, now why is, so-and-so golden?
And I'm Bronze. Hello.
Am I
Fuck
third?
them.
Like, I was born
okay.
before. Yeah. I think it's going to turn into a very big deal. But also with Sterling, like, I think of Mount Sterling, Kentucky. I think of Sterling Silver. Like, I don't know where they're going with it.
I think of Sterling Knight, the star of Sunny with the Chance, Chad Dillon Cooper. He was in Starstruck, Disney
about
star.
that.
Love that guy. That's who I think of when I hear the
so
name Sterling.
odd.
Yeah, it's
I'm all
strange.
for different names. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for the kind of authenticity of it, but something about naming your kids after medals just doesn't.
And having the
right.
same trend with the dog. Like,
The dog is
it's one thing to
wild.
like have a
That's-
trend for like your kids' names and then like have a dog, but like having the same concept for your kids and your dog, that's where I'm like, are you treating your kids like dogs? Like, I don't get it.
I don't know. Overall, interesting choice, if you ask me. News and politics, guys, the biggest thing for our generation right now. TikTok is getting banned. Or is it?
Now, I also happen to hear the kind of court plea coming from the owners of TikTok. The biggest one was, are you affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party? This is such an odd thing to bring up, but for those of you who don't know, TikTok is a Singaporean company, so they are owned by people in Singapore, not China. Just want to throw that out there. So when they're sitting in court, they're pressing the owner of TikTok saying, are you aware the information is going to the Chinese? Are you aware that people are calling your company like part of the Communist Party? Are you affiliated with it? The entire time, sir, I'm Singaporean. We are a Singaporean company. So for us to be kind of, I know part of the ban is that it is kind of like a Chinese communist thing, which is completely odd, but they made it very clear. We are not that. We are a Singaporean company. We don't have any affiliation with them. And if this is the reason that TikTok is getting banned, I might crash out, guys. Like, I hate to admit it, but I'm going to do it. I'm addicted to TikTok.
Yeah.
You guys know that more than anybody.
My attention span, ever since I've had the app, like, it's gone. Like, I can't focus on things anymore, which, like, so maybe it'll be a good thing if it's gone, but, like, we're going out cold turkey, and, like, so many people in our generation literally are, they're actually addicted to it. So, like, if we're going out cold turkey, like, people are going to struggle. They're going to actually struggle with it.
I
It's
would
gonna be bad.
agree. The topic of conversation, though, is like a national security breach. And I think the problem is like the whole proof thing. I mean, everything we've talked about today as far as law, Blake Lively, and that whole situation, like, let's find some proof. And I'm sure that there is some, but
I don't know. I love TikTok. I have so many drafts, so many posts from whenever I got it, I think 8th grade. But I was really thinking about it today. I was like, we need to get rid of it for the younger generation. I am tired of seeing Sephora kids and like elementary schoolers doing get ready with me's with products that I don't even have. And I feel like it's making the younger generations mature faster than they need to. And it's just like, they're not going and playing outside. They're sitting on their phones watching college girls go buy aloe sets and Free People sets and all these things from Sephora and do get ready with me's and all these different things. Yes, it's great to express yourself and really, you can do whatever you want. But like, I just think for the younger generation, it's ruining their attention spans just as much as it's ruining us. But we had our childhood. We had that time to grow. And I don't think they're having that because of social media.
No, I'm sorry. I definitely agree with that because I've had TikTok since literally January 1st, 2016. I was in 6th grade. I kid you not. I thought I was going to be an influencer. I couldn't imagine.
Same girl. Same girl.
I could not imagine if I had TikTok instead of Musical.ly. If I'd grown up on that trope, I think I would not be the person I am today. Musical.ly raised me. Doing the lip syncs with my hands.
Exactly.
That is what raised me.
Mm-hmm. And that's the difference, I think, with we grew up with Musical.ly making embarrassing videos of us. Like,
we had no care in the world. We were just like literally lip syncing sped up songs, but then slowing them down while we're listening.
Guys,
we loved it. We ate that up every single time, and that also plays a role into why I need TikTok to stay as well because I have so many drafts that. I mean, you guys have seen some of the TikToks I make. They are funny. I've been told I can be very comedic on TikTok. What do you mean that, my part of me is dying on that app. It's nice to know that we'll still have it until it's to the point where we can't use it anymore, but my phone is going to hate me to an extent because all of my drafts are going to be on there. You can't let my drafts die like this.
Do you think this is comparable to the shutdown of Vine? Because I feel like Vine was the millennial generation's TikTok, and I feel like our generation has to. So do you think there's going to be like an app for the next generation too that's going to transition Vine to TikTok Musical.ly and then something new?
And I'm going to be so for real. I think I was crushed sitting in my bed when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, finding out that Vine was getting shut down because, again, that was my life. Like, I never posted on there, but I remember watching all of them. The Vine compilations on YouTube live on in my heart. We'll never forget them. I mean, people like Liza Koshy, if you guys know who that is.
Oh my gosh.
She got her start on Vine.
Yes.
She was very active on Musical.ly. We don't see as much of her now, but she has done amazing things for herself. So for me, that's like a whole, what do you mean you took away Vine from her and you're taking away TikTok from her
I think
next?
it's an interesting perspective because, like, for me, I was not allowed to have Vine. I was not allowed to have Musical.ly. So TikTok was the first app like that. Like, I didn't make embarrassing TikTok or embarrassing Musical.ly. Like, that wasn't a thing. But I really do agree with, like, the younger generation, I think, is missing out because I think I started wearing makeup in 8th grade. I'm not kidding. Now, granted, I didn't dance or anything like that. Like, I didn't play sports or do things like that required it. But I really do think there's something to be said. Someone mentioned it in class. We were in class today, and someone was like, I really think, like, my younger siblings and all that need to be.
Yeah.
It's just a total transfer. Like, I don't know. It blows my mind.
I babysit over the summer sometimes, and, like, kids don't know how to play outside like we did. Like, even YouTube Shorts, that's another one. Like, kids watch those all the time. I'm like, what happened to, like, sneaking your phone at night and watching YouTube videos?
How about my DS?
On your
my DS.
Yes.
Play some Animal Crossing.
Our professor today was like, kids don't know how to be bored today. And I know we're still considered kids, like we're 19, 20 years old, but seriously, like little cousins, I mean, you leave them for like 2 minutes, they're like, what are we doing now?
Yeah, like I would be outside in the summer as a kid from the time I woke up. I would go inside, eat dinner, go back outside until it got dark, and then I went to bed.
Me too.
And I think the other thing now is, where is it going to go to? There's the app Red Note. It's a Chinese TikTok, pretty much, which I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Instagram Reels are going to happen. I never really watched Instagram Reels. I'm going to try not to, because I'm trying not to
Your friends
stare
are
at my
going to
phone.
start sending you.
I can't do it.
No.
Guys, I've picked up reading because I'm like, I
Oh
need
my
to find a different
gosh.
hobby
Wow.
when TikTok gets banned.
So we had actually talked about this, I think maybe just a few days ago, but I think Instagram is going to be kind of adjusting the way that they do Reels, because when you kind of have Reels, I appreciate this aspect with kind of more of a professional Instagram. Reels and your post are separate.
Yes.
They show up like on your feed the same, but kind of having the Reels on a separate page, it's kind of nice. I think they're going to change it a little more. I could see that coming, so that it's more of like TikTok-esque, because people are going to want to make TikToks. They got to have a platform to do that somehow. What am I going to do?
Yeah,
I want to make TikToks still.
I just can't see myself like posting, guys, don't watch my TikTok. Now I'm like, oh God. But like, just like, a little outfit check, like on Instagram Reels, like what?
I just
can't do
the
that.
algorithm on Instagram Reels is not equivalent to what TikTok is
No.
at all. Like I've noticed even like in the past like weeks that TikTok, I'll like a post and then 3 posts later it's the same person or it's like the same kind of content. I liked one quilt TikTok and then 3 posts later I'm on puffed quilt TikTok. Like I don't know how I got that. Like that, you're not gonna find that on Instagram Reels. So it's sad to see it go, but I'm excited for the younger generations to like, hey, go build a fort.
Go jump in the pile of leaves. I did that growing up. That was my
Right,
childhood.
Like
Go build a
those
snowman.
Concoctions. Remember, like I used to do
Make
that.
my potions.
Go make those mermaid potions.
Pretend to be a mermaid. Where is that today?
Yes.
I remember the mermaid tails. If
Oh
you
my
guys remember
gosh.
that. Go put a mermaid tail on. Go get one off of Amazon. Go be a kid. Go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Time for everybody's favorite segment. It's our hot takes, except new year, new us. What's on our 2025 bingo card, ladies?
I'm Lauren Smiley here with Pop Goes the Kernel at the Student Center, asking students what's on their 2025 bingo card. Let's get popping. What's on your 2025 bingo card?
Florida's gonna sink.
Trump's going to have a heart attack. I believe that Reputation Taylor's version is going to come out at some point.
Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande get married.
What's on your 2025 bingo card?
We're winning the basketball intramural championship.
Definitely a Commanders Super Bowl. Let's go JD5. That's my king. Shout out my glorious king.
Yeah, Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
That's it for this week's feature on Pop Goes the Kernel. For more information on pop culture hot takes, head to our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and Spotify accounts.